It's time for the trucker John live stream. Gonna be a good time. Oh yeah. The trucker John live stream. Come along for a good time. It's a good time, good time, good time, good time. Trucker John live stream. Gonna be a good time. Gonna be the time of your life. Gonna talk some shit. Hush your mouth. Gonna talk a little smack. Gonna talk whatever comes of it. You're gonna always wanna come back. Well yeah, it's the Trucker John live stream. He's the biggest, baddest, funniest mother you've ever seen. Watch your mouth, he's headed south. Not even sure what that means, but if it's one thing I know, the Trucker John live stream is the best thing you've ever seen. It's time for the Trucker John live stream. Gonna be a good time. Oh yeah. The Trucker John live stream. Come along for a good time. It's a good time, good time, good time, good time. Trucker John live stream. Gonna be a good time. Gonna be the time of your life. Gonna talk some shit. Hush your mouth. Gonna talk a little smack. Gonna talk whatever comes of it. You're gonna always wanna come back. Well yeah, it's the Trucker John live stream. He's the biggest, baddest, funniest mother you've ever seen. Watch your mouth, he's headed south. Not even sure what that means, but if it's one thing I know, the Trucker John live stream is the best thing you've ever seen.
Here on the border, do you support mass deportations?
No, absolutely not.
What should happen with all these migrants?
They need to figure out something, but this is a long time. I've lived up here since kids used to walk across. There was never a problem until Trump came into office. I'll just leave it at that.
So do you think Trump's going to be the man to fix this
No,
situation?
this is going to make everything worse. We're not going to have anybody get the food. I remember 10 years ago, they were looking for workers to pick strawberries. No white people pick strawberries for any price. No price. No price. We're going to be screwed. We're going to be totally screwed. I don't know what's going to happen. We definitely need a redo on it, and all the people that came in this past year that were not from South America, but that had flown in from China and Africa and Turkey and all the other places. I don't know how that all happened, but having a border fence does jack shit. They climb over it and they get hurt. If we need more border patrol, we need money. We need border patrol. Where's he going to come up with all that money for the border patrol that's going to do all this? They're not here right now because we're short. There's just not going to be, we're going to be really screwed over. I'm not sure what's going to happen. I've got 30 acres off the grid and I feel safer that way.
Message for Donald Trump on behalf of the 70 or so million Americans who voted for Kamala Harris. Prove us wrong. You knew damn well Haitians weren't eating people's pets in Ohio, but you said it anyway to scare people. You gave us a Supreme Court that came after women's rights before you even knew what IVF stood for. You insulted Kamala Harris's intelligence after she beat your ass in a debate so bad your own vice presidential candidate had to tell you don't worry, no one cares. You tanked the border bill on purpose so you could run on anti-Hispanic racism. Your own economists will tell you that inflation has been flat for well over a year, but you blamed Biden for it anyway, and you know that only a depression would bring prices back down. You know the GDP has grown faster under Biden over the last 4 years than it ever did on your watch. You know that tariffs are going to blow up the household budget of every single middle-class family in the United States, but you lied about them anyway. And you know that it was your negligence and your mismanagement that resulted in your catastrophic loss in 2020, but you let your terrorist followers attack our capital anyway, resulting in 4 police officers getting hurt so bad they took their own lives. Well, congratulations. Just like in 2016, you're inheriting a booming economy that a Democratic president built. And just like in 2016, you're bringing a Republican House and a Republican Senate to back you up at every turn. The massive burden of running this country correctly is now in your lap. Are you going to fuck it up again? Or are you going to dare to actually prove us wrong and do something that is worth a shit?
Election day was almost a month ago, but since a lot of these races take some time to count, NBC News was finally able to call the last race in the House. Democrat Adam Gray will flip the seat in California's 13th district, winning by a margin of less than 200 votes, which just goes to show you that even if you don't live in a swing state, your vote still matters. This means Republicans will hold a razor-thin majority in the 119th Congress with 220 seats to the Democrats' 215, an even tighter margin than they're used to working with. And it's probably going to get even smaller, at least temporarily, since Trump picked 2 Republican members to serve in his administration. And Matt Gaetz says he will not join the next Congress after his failed bid for Attorney General. Meaning for the first couple of months, House Republicans will only be able to afford to lose just one single vote on legislation. This is all just further proof that this election was not the landslide or sweeping mandate that Trump and his MAGA cronies want you to think it was. Even in the popular vote, Trump is now below 50%. In fact, his margin of victory over Vice President Kamala Harris has shrunk to just 1.6%, which is smaller than that of every winning president since 1888, other than John F. Kennedy in 1960 and Richard Nixon in 1968. As Mehdi Hassan writes for The Guardian, Trump, the 49.9% president, doesn't represent the popular will. Yes, he won the election fair and square and won the popular vote for the first time. But if we are to prevent him from expanding his power in the Oval Office, we must resist this new Republican election lie. We must not allow him to pretend that he has some sort of special mandate for controversial policies and personnel.
What we've seen repeatedly amongst my extreme MAGA Republican colleagues is that they say one thing to the American people before the election and then do something different after the election. The House Republicans said they were going to protect Social Security and Medicare, and so did their presidential nominee. And now we learn after the election that House Republicans are planning to try to cut Medicare and Social Security and end it as we know it. House Republicans said before the election that they were focused on improving the quality of life of working class Americans. But after the election, they're focused on tax cuts for the wealthy, the well-off, and the well-connected.
And now, ladies and gentlemen, the moment you've been waiting for. Trucker John. Good morning, good morning, good morning. Hey, everybody, let me know if you can hear me okay. Hopefully, we are broadcasting loud and clear. So if you give me a thumbs up, that'd be great. Just to let me know you can hear me okay. For some reason, I was just trying to share the show out, and for some reason it wasn't sharing out to Discord. It wasn't going to Facebook. So anyhow, we do have some folks in here, so good to see you. I'm not able to scroll all the way to the top for some odd reason, but earlier I did see that Aaron was first in the chat. So thanks for being here, Aaron, and everyone else. Are you guys ready? Are you ready? Look, I'm still wearing my Rams gear. I'm still all rammed out because I'm still beaming from Sunday's game against the Bills. I know there's some Bills fans in here. Hey, look, you guys are going to go off looking good going into the playoffs. So you know, I'm not going to feel sorry for you guys. We needed that win. We need every single win we can possibly get just to sort of backdoor our way into the playoffs here. And now we got another tough matchup on Thursday, so we got a short week. Us Rams. We got a short week this week. We got to play the Niners on Thursday, so that's going to be fun. Now, earlier in the year, that's when we had that great come from behind victory against the Niners. Remember that? I was ready to turn that game off. I mean, it was still late in the third quarter. I think we were still down by like 3 touchdowns, I think, if I remember correctly. I was ready to turn the game off. I was disgusted. And then some big play happened or they scored, and I was like, well, maybe I'll keep watching. And I'm glad I did because it was a great game. It was a great game for the Rams. I know for the Niner fans, it was not a great game, but nevertheless, that's how it goes, right? That's how it goes. It's kind of like, I guess, for 2025, for all the maggots out there, this was a great year. This was a great election. For all of us normal people, for some reason this table is kind of rocking here. Anyhow, for all of us people who have a shred of common sense and we know right from wrong, and our heads are partially out of our asses, at least in my case, this was a horrible year. This was a horrible election. This was a horrible result. Horrible, horrible, horrible. I really wish we could run Donald Trump out of the country, just like the Syrians have run Assad out of that country, out of Syria. But they've been fighting a long, long time, years and years and years, and they were finally able to send Assad packing. Literally, a lot of times we use that as an expression. Let's send so and so packing, and it's just a it's like a metaphor. It's just a saying. But we want to beat somebody, in an election, or we want to have an incumbent lose or something, send them packing. And I would literally like to send Donald Trump packing to prison, basically, because as you can see, Trump is a felon, Trump is a rapist. The motherfucker should be in prison. Anyhow, with that, let me go ahead and say hi. It's 9:15 a.m. Pacific time here in beautiful Las Vegas. We are sitting at about, could this be right? Is it 39 degrees outside? Oh, it's 41. Now it's warmed up to 41 degrees. Yeah, we're getting kind of chilly overnight. So getting into the 30s here in Vegas. Overnight or the daytime highs would be about upper 50s, I guess. This says 55 today. So it's nice. I'm enjoying the cool weather. Believe you me, after going through summer with 120 degree temperatures and where we had triple digits well into September this year, almost all through September, I think. And well into the 90s in October. I'm only too glad to get some cool temperatures. All right, so let's see. So Aaron was first, but now I can't scroll all the way back to the top. But I do see Roxanne's here. Good to see you, Roxanne. Fancy, hello, Fancy. Good morning to you. Big Dog. Hey, the Big Dog is in the driver's lounge. Alvin Stube. Good to see you here in the driver's lounge. MJ Daniels here. Good to see you. I saw MJ over there in the Stephanie Miller chat here on YouTube. I watched the YouTube one. I like the YouTube one much better than Twitch. I really hate Twitch. Twitch is so choppy and jumpy and unpredictable as far as like if it's going to keep playing or not, So say what you want. I guess everyone has their favorite platforms. I like YouTube. Carrie C is here. Hey, Carrie C. Good to see you. Deborah Murphy. Hello, Deborah. Hey, there's Jolie. Good to see Jolie. So we're at full mod capacity here, or full mod strength. Christina Weibels here says, it's noontime. Good day. Chat just got done watching Senate hearing on mass deportation on PBS YouTube. Oh, wow. I didn't know they were doing that. They had a Senate hearing on mass deportation? Wow. Christina, tell me more. Tell me more. That sounds interesting. Alvin Stu, howdy, says hello to everybody. Let's see. Everyone's saying hello back and forth. Search for you. Hello. Howdy, truckers. Howdy back at you. Mike H is here. Today, Mike, is it really your birthday? Well, happy birthday, Mike. Sincerely, happy birthday to Mike H. Glad you're here. Nick Rich is here. Good to see you. He's like number 11. And right now I see 29 watching, 16 thumbs up. So let's get those thumbs ups going. Of course, for some reason, my thing never it never really updates, it seems like. And I really don't want to touch it because as far as like trying to update this thing, because it's really weird. Like, you know, I every day before I start the show, when I start the show, I have to delete the YouTube app on my iPad and then re-download it just so I can get to all messages every single time. It's just weird. Chris Doug's here. Hey, Chris Doug, thanks for being here. Good to see you in the driver's lounge. William's here. Says, hey, trucker, and everyone else. Hello, William. Good to see you. And you guys did give me thumbs ups, right? You can hear me? I guess you can all hear me. Chris Doug, I need this. Mike H, I'm 48 now. Well, happy 48th birthday to Mike H. Everybody wish Mike H a happy birthday. Let's see. I'm just scrolling down here. Let's see what's going on. Michael McAndrews is here. Dumpy Stump is a terrorist punk. Hey, I like that. Let's add some rhyme, a little rhyme to it. Yeah, good. Yes, he is a terrorist. He's awful. He is so fucking awful, man. And you know, I was watching what's her name, Kristen Welker or whatever interview, and it just reminded me of how awful he is and how stupid he is and how moronic Donald Trump is and what we have to look forward to for the next few years. You know, like I've been saying, you know, we're all trying to encourage one another and lift each other up and give each other encouragement and be supportive to get through these next few years, right? But we're going to have to do some other stuff too. We're going to have to take our minds off of Trump for a little bit. If we can. I mean, you can never take him completely off. We can't let him get away with shit, but we're going to have to find some hobbies. You know, I mean, I like watching football. I like watching baseball. That shit helps take my mind off of Trump for a little bit, but I know we're gonna have to do stuff to keep ourselves sane for these next few years, and just hope and pray to God that the American people will wake up. That this would be a huge wake up call, because it should never. We should not have lost. We could not afford to lose this election, and we lost it. And I don't care how close it was. I know it's very close in the popular, just a 1.5 percentage point, you know, separated the two. But still, we could not lose, and we lost, and it sucks. You know, this is not a football game. This is real life, and it was a close game. It was a close score, but this is real life, man. And now we're gonna get the consequences of a Trump presidency, and it's pretty sad. It's pretty sad. So I mean, I'm trying to stay upbeat, and I'm trying to find ways of not going off into a total depression. You know, but sometimes it's hard. I mean, it's hard to stay upbeat. It's hard to stay positive, but we got to do it. We can't. We can't let. We can't give into it. You know, can't give into to the Trump um, that negativity that comes with the whole MAGA. So as we go along, whenever we get any little victory, we've got to just celebrate it. Like that flipping that seat in San Diego or whatever it was. I think it was, or in California. Hey, we got a House seat, and it narrows the gap as far as the House advantage for the Republicans to 5. And like Joy Reid was saying, is they're gonna, if Trump gets these picks through, they're gonna have even a smaller number. So we got to take whatever we can get, folks. We got to take whatever we can get, and just try and ride this thing out at least till 2026, and hope to pray to God that we have a big blue tsunami in 2026. MJ Daniel, not a mandate, not even close. Yeah, it's not a mandate. And that's important to remember, but it's also, here I go getting negative. I mean, you see the big blue wall that we used to have. It's not a big blue wall anymore, even though those big blue battleground states, Michigan, Wisconsin, Pennsylvania, up there used to be pretty reliably blue. So even to lose them by a small margin, and we saw that happen in 2016 and happened again in 2020, even worse this time as far as losing all of them, even though it was close. I'm still flummoxed. I'm still flummoxed by it, and I know we can go and dissect the Harris campaign, and we can point out the mistakes. Everyone makes mistakes. Everyone makes mistakes, and we hopefully we'll learn from the mistakes. So when we criticize the Harris campaign, I hope it's in the vein of learning from the mistakes to do better next time, and not as like a put down against Kamala Harris and campaign, because I think she did a great job. I really, overall, especially in real time, she was doing a great job. And I was just thinking about how, because I think JoJo from Jers brought it up on Stephanie's show today or it came up in a comment or something about when Trump was just, what was just a week before the election or whatever, when he was just playing, music and just standing on stage and just swaying back and forth and for 45 minutes or whatever it was. And that motherfucker still won. I mean, it's so mind-boggling. All of the gaffes and all of the they always say, like, I've always heard, that like image is everything, and the image of Trump during that those last few weeks of the campaign was just of a bumbling, stumbling fool, of an idiot, and of a campaign that seemed to lose all of its steam. And yet the motherfucker still won. It still doesn't make sense. It does not compute in my head how that motherfucker could win. It almost makes me feel like somebody cheated. I'm trying to get centered in this shot without moving the camera stand. I guess that's a little bit better. And I know I keep moving my head back and forth. Anyhow, I've got to move on from that. But I keep lingering on November and prior, just in October, about how terrible the Trump campaign looked. How it looked like it was all falling apart. And Trump looked like he was falling apart. and how it was when I saw the Kamala Harris campaign, it looked like it was on fire in a good way, you know. So it just does not fucking compute to me, and that's been the hardest thing to get over. It's like I know what I saw. I know what I fucking saw. And I saw such a contrast in these campaigns. There was a post because I did that Harris Tim Walz campaign stop in Nevada. It was one of their very first ones after Biden stepped down from the race and Kamala Harris was in. One of her first places that she went to was right here in Nevada, and I did that. I was able to go to that, and I made a video of it, and it got so far it's gotten 293,000 views. By far my most popular video. It went viral. It hit 290 within the first day, you know, and then since then it has been trickling in, but it was like almost 290,000 within the first 24 to 48 hours. It was just amazing to see that and that to me that was another indication of how on fire that this campaign was going to be, even though that was really early. But for me to get a video that got almost 290,000 views within the first day or day and a half, that indicated to me that people were definitely excited or had their interest, you know, peaked with Kamala Harris. And you know, but anyhow, someone posted I'm just the other days. I'm still getting people commenting on that, and there's a lot of, you know, like trolls or maggots in there, and somebody, they left this post and they said they're like, thank God that they didn't win. Talking about Harris and Walz. It was like, thank God they didn't win, you know, so we wouldn't be subjected to their. I should probably find it. If I look for it, I'm going to lose my ability to be on all chats, though. That's the only thing. And I'm not set up to hook up my computer, but this person was either some sort of a troll or a paid troll or just a total maggot. I don't know, but. Then they listened, because then I said, how so? And then they listed off all these things about, it was a complete opposite world of what reality is. And it was really amazing to me because, you know, whether that was just some maggot or just some like some kind of a troll that was just repeating, was just saying what they're told to say, as far as like these kind of Russian talking points, or whether that was someone who actually, you know, has been brainwashed by listening to those talking points. I don't know, but it's just amazing to me how people can be so misinformed that they really think that under Biden, that we've had such a terrible economy. We've got the best economy that we've had in 50 years in many aspects, as far as like unemployment and wages going up and unemployment being down and GDP and our inflation going down. You know, when you add all those things together, this is the best economy we've had in half a century. But you would think that this was that we were in the middle of the Great Depression, in 1929 or 1930. That's the way you would think that's what we were living then, going through. And we're not. Something's got to be done to cut through all this fucking bullshit. Something has to be done to get the truth out there. What are we going to do? We are so stacked up against the billionaires and the multi-billion-dollar corporations, the big media, the big mainstream media, let alone the right-wing media, like the Rupert Murdochs. Speaking of which, he's dying. Or, he's 93. His son, he's got one son that is apparently Lachlan, who wants to keep the Fox News empire going the way it's always been going, and really be a propaganda arm for the right wing and for the Republicans. But apparently there are three other sons, or at least offspring. I'm not sure. I think 2 sons. Maybe there's a daughter in there. I don't know. But they seem to be not wanting to carry on with that. There's big infighting there. So let's take whatever we can, whatever little bits of positivity we can, and rejoice in it. There's at least maybe the Rupert Murdoch secession is playing out in real life. I always thought that show Secession on HBO, a lot of people would compare them to like the Trumps, but that wasn't the Trumps. That was the Murdochs. That show, as far as I'm concerned. And maybe that's going on. They're trying to get a takeover. They're trying, there's something going on there. But God damn it, we need to cut through the bullshit somehow, man. Because it can get pretty depressing. But speaking of billionaires, and that's another thing, when the CEO of United Healthcare was shot and gunned down in the street, like I've said from the very get-go, I don't condone murder. I don't condone, like this vigilante justice, but I found it very difficult to muster up any type of sympathy or even empathy. However you want to word it, sympathy or empathy. I couldn't really muster up anything for that man that was murdered. And I wasn't the only one. And I think a lot of people are fed up with the billionaire class. And I really think that we need to have our own little uprising. And I'm not talking about violence. I'm not talking about anything like that. But I'm trying to figure out why this table is rocking. Anyhow, we the people, the 99%, do you realize that basically the bottom, I would say at least the bottom 99% of us, we're not rich by any stretch of the imagination. I mean, the top maybe 3 or 4%, you might be getting into people who maybe they're worth a few $1 million or something. It's not until you start getting up into that top 1% that you really start getting into the multi-millionaires. And then it's that 1/10 of 1% that's you start getting into the billionaires. The bottom 99% of us, we're not that rich. And certainly the bottom 70 or 75 or 80% of us is basically just your middle class, working class, and on down, working poor and poor. I mean, 75 or 70% of us probably only make the median income, which has been going up actually, but I haven't checked the numbers lately. But the median income, or at least 70 or 75% of us, maybe it's, I don't know, what's it up to now? 50, 60,000 a year. $70,000 a year. And many people, I don't make that much money. When I was driving a truck, I was clearing less than that when I was driving full time. And everything, I would clear less than that. So my point is, not trying to talk about it, divulge people's incomes or whatever, but my point is that most of us make probably under 100,000 a year, most of us, and then the few that do make over 100,000, congratulations, that's great, that's wonderful. If you can make 150 grand a year, more power to you. But that is nothing compared to like what the top 1% are making. Can you imagine making, I don't know, 10 million a year, or multi-millions of dollars a year, and then complaining that you're not secure financially, or complaining that you don't want to pay extras in taxes so that people can fund, we can fund Social Security, or we can fund Medicare. Can you imagine that? I mean, like, imagine, like, let's say you make 60 grand a year, 70 grand a year. You got a good job. Maybe you make 100 grand a year. Good for you. That's great. But can you imagine somebody that is complaining? Someone who makes $3 million a year, let's say. And they make that every year, year in and year out. 3 million a year, 3 million a year, 3 million a year. Can you sympathize with people like that if they're complaining about they're paying too much in taxes? I mean, even after their taxes, they're still making, I'm sure they're still making well over, $1.5 million a year, let's just say. Can you imagine a complaining? Like, how rough could your life be? Let's say after your taxes, you're clearing $1.5 million every single year for the next 20 years. Now, I know we have inflation, we have, and you could be making, income could go up. But let's say, for the sake of argument, you're making you clear after all your taxes, after all your expenses, everything, your net is $1.5 million a year. Let's just say $1.5 million a year. That's not necessarily a big multi-millionaire. That's definitely not a billionaire. But could you imagine if you cleared $1.5 million every single year? What kind of life you could live? What you could do? How you could have a really nice house. You could have nice cars. You could go on some really bitchin' vacations every fucking year. You could see the world. You could go to Europe. You could go to Asia. You could go to South America. You could do whatever the fuck you want. You really, really could. If you made $1.5 million, you don't need to live in a $20 million mansion. You could have a nice house and live a really good fucking life, right? You would never want, unless you have some really serious fucking drug problem or something, or gambling addiction, there's no fucking reason why you could not live very, 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 very super comfortably and have a great fucking life if you cleared $1.5 million a year. And you would be in the top 1% of the income, by the way, probably. Or at least top 1 or 2%. For the rest of us, if you're making 50, 60, 70 grand, 80 grand a year, and you're married, you got a couple kids, every fucking dime you got is going to that household. To maintain your household. To support your kids. To get them through school. To feed them and clothe them. Maybe you could have a nice little vacation to Disney World maybe once every few years or something. Do you see the difference? Every fucking dime is accounted for. If you're making 70 grand a year and you got a couple kids, you don't have any money left over. That's why you can't afford a $400 emergency. We are strapped. us here in the bottom 99%. And these motherfuckers that are making millions of dollars a year, they're out of touch with fucking reality. So when a CEO of United Healthcare gets fucking popped in the street and we don't give a fuck about it, and then they wonder what the fuck is wrong with the American people, well, that's it. It's because you guys are so out of fucking touch with us. You don't give a fuck about us. So we don't give a fuck about you. Billionaires and multi-millionaires. Time for you to have a fucking wake-up call. And time for you to realize there's a whole hell of a lot more of us than there are of you. And if we ever get our shit together and we stop taking the bait of this divide and conquer bullshit, then you guys are in trouble. And we will run your ass out like the Syrians ran Assad out. We will. If we could ever get our fucking act together, if we could ever stop with this infighting, if we could ever stop with taking the bait of arguing about trans restrooms or whatever. Do you see what that is? All that shit is about dividing and conquering and having us fighting about trans people using restrooms or whatever. And I'm not saying that's not something that should be talked about. Yeah, we deal with those issues, but we don't need to fucking vote a fucking felon rapist in because we maybe have some issues about a trans person using a restroom. There's a lot more pressing issues that need to be handled. And I'm not, again, I don't mean to say that that's not an important issue, because it is. I mean, trans rights are important. Gay rights are important. LGBTQ plus rights are important. But they divide and conquer us because we want to get hung up on talking about who should use what restroom. Anyhow, thanks guys for being here. I wasn't watching the chat. Fancy giving it a membership. Thank you, Fancy, so much. And looks like John Doe got it. I'm just looking at the chat. Everyone's talking along here. Chris says Twitch is not my thing. Yeah, I really don't like. I'm not impressed with Twitch. It's too herky jerky. I like to call it herky jerky. Chris Dog, who will harvest the crops? Yeah, that opening video, we're talking about these mass deportations that they want to do and all this kind of stuff. It's crazy. And what is the fucking point of all that? I mean, I know that's another thing about how the divide and conquer. Let's talk about the border. Let's invent this fear of the border being overrun and this invasion of America. Let's plant all these images in people's heads and get them all worked up. That's all these fucking Republicans do. They've been doing it at least, well, probably forever, but going back to Reagan and abortion and putting the images of babies being murdered. They've been doing that since 1980 and 81. This isn't just a new thing. They get us, and the bottom 99% of us, to just fight against each other instead of standing together to make sure that we don't get a felon and a rapist in the White House. So when we fight each other, this is what we get. This is what we get. We get a felon and a rapist in the White House. Because we will fight each other, and it's sleight of hand. While we're fighting, the felon and the rapist is getting in. And we got to stop it. And we got to, every single one of us, we got to get the truth out there. Nick Rich says, if the terrorists begin, then the maggots will lose their shit bigly. I just hope they know where to direct the blame when the shit hits the fan. The Soulcraft says, it's like a sign on the rotation in our culture. I'm waiting to aliens to say game's up. Yeah, well, we can't depend on that. You know what I mean? I'm about 27 minutes behind in the chat, so I'm just going to scroll on down a little bit here. Chris Dog says a percentage of people believed Trump would lose, did not want him to win, and then voted against Kamala and helped deliver our nation to a despotic, incompetent tyrant. I think we learned that it does take a lot to get to the masses. It does take a lot to get the masses of the voting electorate, I guess, even just to get them fired up and get them interested in voting. It takes a lot more than I thought. Michael McAndrews says, we might make mistakes, but we are not deviant Nazi nuts like Trumpy Stump. Hey, there's Kemet Chandra. Kemet Chandra? Good to see you. Thanks for being here in the driver's lounge. Not sure if I've seen you before, but thanks for being here. Make sure you like, subscribe, and share. That would be great if you would do that. Let me scroll on down here a little bit. Ichabod Deer is here. Hey, Ichabod says, the first day I volunteered at DNC Phone Bank 2024, I knew Kamala would lose. Was that because of what your respondents were saying when you were doing the calls? Like, you must have been getting a lot of sort of negative feedback, I guess. Ichabod Deer says, Atlas Intel poll out of Cornell University, unbiased, had Trump winning and swing states 2, very accurate poll. Ichabod Deer says, Starlink had nothing to do with it. Alvin still, we found out stupid people vote too. The Soulcraft says that's got to be why Elon has literally not left Trump's side since election day. Doug G. Fox Lies. Hey, Doug G. Good to see you. Speaking of Elon Musk, the guy, it's been reported that he used at least $277 million of his own money to help elect Trump. There's just something wrong with that. There's just something wrong with that. Help me out here, folks. Something very, very wrong. Chris Doug says, I cannot repeat this enough, but we are about to be ruled by a, I know it's that cacastratic, because we're in a cacastratic, plutocratic oligarchy, unqualified billionaire fascist elites that do not care about the average citizen. And they're out of touch. They're so out of touch. I mean, even people who aren't billionaires, even if you're just like, remember, this is probably what, 20 years ago when John McCain, I don't know if he was when he was running for president or if it was before that. And I think John McCain was probably, I think he was worth a couple $1,000,000. It's not like he was super rich. Uh, maybe he was worth a few million, I guess, whatever. But and they asked him what was the price of a gallon of milk, and I think he said $50. And I think he was serious. Like he was trying to throw a guess, hazard. He was hazarding a guess, and I believe he said $50. And everyone was like, "What?" You know, because milk was like, even back then it was like, you know, $3 or $2.50 or $3 or whatever. You know, some places like today, some places it's $4 or $4.50 a gallon for a gallon of milk. I usually at Albertsons, it's usually like $2.99. You know, so back then, and 20 years ago when he said that, maybe it was, I don't know what the average. I forget what the average price of a gallon of milk was, but it was nowhere near $50. It might have been $1.99 back then. I don't know. But he said $50 because the guy was out of touch and he hadn't gone shopping for himself in who knows how long. He probably had people do that for him, right? So even just being worth a few $1,000,000 can put someone really, really, really out of touch with what I was saying earlier. But for the rest of us who are making 50 to 100 grand a year, let's just say, or even more, but it's a struggle. I mean, it's every dime you got is going into your household. It's going into your groceries and to your rent or your mortgage, your cars, your insurance, your gas, whatever, the schools, and what the price of for a gallon of milk is, and then I guess that goes to this 2024 election. People complaining about the price of eggs so much. But then there's somehow being this disconnect with how well the economy was going and how much it was a great turnaround for coming out of COVID. And then people acting as though COVID never even existed. That's the great magician's trick right there. How did so many people forget that COVID even happened? And forget how well Joe Biden got us out of COVID and out of not only the disease and getting people vaccinated and boosted and getting us back to work, and then turning the economy around within a couple of short years, reinvesting in America, reinvesting in American ingenuity. And then people just acting like it never even happened. That is the great mystery, I guess. Maybe it's not a mystery, but when you have so much deception going on in our media, that's this sane washing of Trump, and this really just bashing of, like, when Biden was running, of any little foible, any little thing, but fucking Trump could get away with murder. Michael McAndrew says we just have to keep going. We just have to keep being the good people, John. Throughout history, good people have been hurt. Maybe someday we can change that. Yeah, we got to keep going. That's for sure. We can't give up. Never give up. Think about Deer says Pelosi is hated. Not surprising to me at all. Hey, look, Nancy Pelosi, in her day, great Speaker of the House. She was a go-getter, no doubt. And it's just unfortunate that we had so much when she was Speaker of the House. So much of the time, Mitch McConnell was in the Senate leader, and so Nancy Pelosi, especially during I guess Obama, I mean, they pumped out some great House bills, but they would just go to the Senate and die, and that's not her fault. That's the American people's fault for letting the Senate have the majority. Let's put some blame on the American people for voting the way they do. Although, like I said, I sort of contradicted myself because I'm talking about how the media is so much to blame for, I think, misdirecting people, or misinforming people, disinforming people. It just goes round and round and round and round, and it gets like we're just chasing our tails here. WW's here. Hey W, good to see you. Thanks for being here in the old driver's lounge. Big Dog says, Luigi, hey mom, I'm going to McDonald's. Mom, don't forget your manifesto and 3D printer gun. This guy Luigi, because I'm thinking, okay, the first thing he should have done was ditch the gun. He should have ditched his fake IDs. He should have, once he got out of New York, he's in Pennsylvania. He could have, maybe just ordered DoorDash and answered the door, like, behind the door, and he got the food. So it just seems to me he didn't care if they got caught. I mean, he had a pretty good escape plan. Like, he cared enough to get out of there. But at the end of the day, it seems like he didn't really care, because it doesn't seem like he was a dumb kid. It seems like he's pretty smart in a lot of ways, but then, so it seems like he would know, he would be smart enough to know that he should have got rid of all that stuff, but he didn't. And I don't think it was just because he was stupid. I think it's because he didn't care. Maybe his real agenda here is to go to trial and keep this, maybe to keep the issue out there in the forefront as much as possible. Now he's going to go to trial. Maybe he'll have the opportunity to get his manifesto read. I don't know what his manifesto exactly says, but apparently he seems like someone who is upset with the healthcare industry, the healthcare insurance industry. I have to emphasize the insurance part of it, because it's about the insurance companies. It's not really so much about, our actual health care, which is actually pretty good as far as what is provided at our hospitals and by our doctors and our nurses. They're pretty good. It's the insurance part of it that's bad. So, and it's the healthcare insurance lobbyist. It's the not getting a public option on the ACA. It's not being able to negotiate drug prices and things, and that we just now under Biden have been able to chip away at some of that. And with the great help of Elizabeth Warren and AOC and Bernie Sanders and others in Congress, we've been able to chip away at and get some price negotiation. And maybe one of the goals of this shooter was to get that out there, not only by doing what he did, but now he's going to go to trial, and maybe he'll be able to get his viewpoints out there and bring these things out to more and more people. Maybe that's the goal. I don't know. I guess we'll just have to see. We'll just have to see how it plays out. Hey, Kim Chi's here. Good to see Kim Chi. Says ho. or Joe, beautiful geniuses, just have a massive check for fake teeth implants, not a millionaire. Yeah, that's expensive. I've been looking into that myself. And just think now, my earlier example, if you cleared, let's say if you cleared $1.5 million a year, you'd be able to get those teeth like that. You could just pay that out of pocket. You wouldn't even have to worry about dental insurance. You could pay that right out of fucking pocket. Just saying. That's just another thing to think about. The rest of us schlubs are making 50 or 60 grand a year or less, or maybe a little more. We don't have a spare 30 grand laying around to go get some nice new dental implants. Or we don't even have you know, what it would cost, a few grand or whatever to go if you wanted. Because I've been looking into this shit. Dental, what do they call it? Dental, they call it medical vacations or whatever in other countries. Like from here, I've been looking into Taiwan. There's, I think, Turkey does dental implants, and they do other things too. But I've been looking about dental implants specifically. I think Turkey, Taiwan. There's a few other places where it's considerably cheaper, and from what I've read, they do good work. Then it's considerably cheaper than having it done here in the States. But we don't even have enough money to do that. So I think that there is a great divide here. And those of us in the bottom 99%, do you guys remember the 99-cent movement? That was right at the same time as Occupy Wall Street. Occupy Wall Street and the 99 percenters, we were all at the same time. And they almost kind of like merged, I think. But the point of that was, of the 99%, the way I took it was to mean was that there's more of us than there are of you. And if we, in the bottom 99%, ever got our shit together and we stopped, fighting with one another, and we actually got together then and rose up in unity, that the top 1% would be shitting in their pants. There wouldn't be enough depends in the world to keep them from shitting all over themselves. Chris Doug says $70,000 a year in New York metro area is poor. Right. And Kipsy says $100K in Arlington or you starve. Andrew Petrie's here. Hey, Andrew, good to see you. Andrew says, I don't care about much anymore, just Ukraine. Minus Kevin says, hug Kimchi, kiss on cheek. Oh, you guys. Fancy says, those slot machines are fun while my money lasts. Don't hose here says, what comes around goes around. Ancient Chinese proverb. Yeah, Slava Ukraini. We got some Slava Ukrainis in there for sure. There's Kimchi. Hello, Kimchi. MJ Daniel says, the Republicans and MAGA don't seem to give a fuck about DJT pardoning the people who tried to overthrow Congress and kill the Capitol Police officer, do they? They don't. And that's a thing also we got to remember. Because it seems like we overlook things, right? How can we forget, and I know most of us in this chat haven't, but how can we forget January 6th? And isn't it fucking, it's beyond ironic how Donald Trump led this insurrection against our country, against our democracy, and now that motherfucker is back in the White House. He's going to be. I mean, God, it doesn't, you couldn't make this shit up. You know what I mean? It's like, it's fucking crazy to think that, I mean, it's almost like if, I don't know. You know how some people call Donald Benedict Donald in kind of a play on Benedict Arnold. I guess would it be kind of like if Benedict Arnold had betrayed America and then became president or something? I don't know. It's a stretch. That's a stretch. But just think of it. I mean, we thought we were done. I thought we were done with Trump. I really did, especially after Jan 6. Okay, and especially then finding all of the top secret, like military classified secrets that he fucking stole. He carted them out of the White House and schlepped them down to Mar-a-Lago and stuck them in his bathroom. You know, and then we find out that a lot of people were compromised. A lot of things were compromised. And it just goes on and on and on and on and on. The fucking shit this man has done. This Donald motherfucking Trump has done. And he's back in the fucking White House. It just, again, it just doesn't compute. It doesn't compute to me. Hey, there's James Williams. Good to see James in the chat. Good morning. There's Tom Bias. Kamala didn't run on trans rights. Hey, Tom Bias. Michael McAndrews. Hitler used the put down technique too, just like Dumpy Stump. Think about Deer. The problem is intellectuals do not know how to connect to blue collar voters. No connection. Trump is not an intellectual, but far from it, right? Chris Doug, before the election, we were told the economy was a disaster by Trump. Yet every mall parking lot full, every college and pro football game packed with people. Stock market record highs. The stock market has been, record highs, and yet people apparently were complaining about the price of eggs and the price of things, and somehow that was Kamala Harris's fault. Or Democrats in general's fault, I guess. Ichabod Deer says, Youth Dem said polls were wrong. No, the polls were correct. Chris Doug, Trump told Welker millions and millions of illegals entering U.S. complete hogwash. Ichabod Deer, Welker is an idiot. I was watching that interview. She has these weird psycho eyes where she's like, I call her psycho eyes. I'm just scrolling down in the chat here. Soulcraft says, like his Russia, they spied on my campaign. Think about Deer. Once one MAGA got a call from a DNC phone bank, they spread that number among their own. Oh, wow. Hey, Josh. It says, hey, Lounge Crew. Hello, Josh. Good to see you. Thanks for being here. Thanks for hanging out from the old Driver's Lounge. Here we are. Tom Bias says, something will happen to cause PAB to declare war and then martial law. WW says, don't ho. If you want to get into an experimental program, you must apply. Experimental means just that. Midas Kevin Anderson says, that made no sense, John. They hated Trump but didn't vote for Kamala. What did they think would happen? Yeah, who hated Trump? I'm mid-thread. I have to admit, I'm kind of mid-thread on this, so I'm not sure. I told WW to the first day. Don't Host says, paying for insurance for decades only to be denied treatment shouldn't require a membership, for fuck's sake. WW says, I only got the numbers I called from DNC, mostly to have registered Democrats. But Tom Bias, the thing, okay, something will happen to cause PAB to declare war. I was wondering, like, that I have been wondering, like, if we don't get something big like COVID, like a pandemic, during this administration, during this upcoming Trump administration, let's say we don't get anything big like that, and let's say we don't get a big war. Then we should see, not that it will matter, I guess, for a lot of people, but we should see just how incompetent Trump is. Maybe this will really expose Trump for his incompetence, because before, I mean, we had the pandemic and we know that he was incompetent in that. It seems like we can't win, because no matter what, MAGA and the mainstream media and the right-wing media will sane wash whatever he does. You know what I mean? No matter how badly Trump fucks things up, there's going to be someone there in the media that's going to justify it or downplay it or whatever. So I don't know. I guess we just got to have a wait and see thing here. I am getting a little anxiety here about this. James Williams says, so Trump can kill 1 million Americans refusing to provide factual information or slow walks vaccines, and his punishment is electing him again. It's bizarre, isn't it, James? It's very, very bizarre. Chris Dog says, Mush, I guess that's Musk, Mush bought votes and will not be held accountable. $270 million that he put into, most of that into the RBG, whatever it was called, like a super PAC. He named the super PAC RBG after Ruth Bader Ginsburg. What a motherfucker, Elon Musk. He thinks the thing, and Musk, you know, wouldn't you just love to slap, just bitch slap that little bitch, and just slap that little smirk off his face? He's the kind of punk. Look, I was never a bully in high school. In fact, I got bullied a few times. I mean, here and there, but I was never a bully. But wasn't there always like that kid who always had that smirk, and it was just a smart ass, you know, who you just really wanted to like knock that little smirk off his face? That's what Elon Musk is. He's like a little fucking, you know, this little fucking piece of shit who he deserves to get that smirk knocked off his face. And just you know, I mean, yeah, I wouldn't mind punching the guy with a closed fist, but he kind of just deserves an open hand right across the face. He really deserves to be bitch slapped. Ichabod Deer says, I feel like my dollars could become worthless with MAGA. Chris Doug says, Kakistocrack. Oh, yeah. Yeah, I know. And I still can't say it, even though you sounded out like that. Kakistocratic. A government of the least qualified, most incompetent people. And I think I saw people have done a little play on the word where it's like, or at least maybe I was just thinking about it, but it's like caca, where Trump is leading us into a caca stocracy because it's so shitty. It's going to be so shitty. Deborah Murphy asks, where is J.D. Vance? And is Trump going to try to move Elon into vice president? Well, you know, that's, yeah, J.D. Vance has been pretty silent since the election. But he's vice president, and that's what really the vice president should just be in the background. I don't think Trump is going to try to move Musk into the vice president, but he's definitely giving Musk a lot of attention and giving him control of this Doge or whatever the fuck it is. Chris Doug says eggs are more expensive in Europe and Asia than here. Everything's more expensive in Europe and Asia, and inflation is way, way higher than it is here. I mean, like I said, and like we've been saying all through these last few months, through this Kamala Harris campaign, that our economy is the envy of the world. But people didn't want to hear that. God forbid they had to pay $4 for a dozen of eggs or something. I don't know. The Soulcraft says, I work 2 jobs, 3 counting high school percussion instruction. Yeah, people are working multiple jobs just to make their mortgage payments and just to maintain their households. James Williams says, be fair, Trump has a concept of a health plan. Minus Kevin Anderson, just think fancy in deep Alaska, they like yak milk. Shivers. John Deff, make America suck again. Michael McAndrews, some dude drinks his own piss as a COVID cure. Oh, nice imagery there. Thank you. Let me skip on down here in the chat. It says, Ichabod, dear Pelosi served her district. I don't like her at all. Well, I was talking about Pelosi. Okay, I was giving her some praise for being a really good Speaker of the House. She got a lot of bills through the House that went on to die in the Senate, thanks to Mitch McConnell. But I think it's time for her to go. I mean, she's like 90, right? I mean, come on. At some point, hey, I'm all for, people living as long as they can and being as productive and everything as long as they can. But come on, Nancy. It's time to let somebody else play for a while. You've had your time. Your time is done, Nancy. W says, absolutely. It all boils down to voters and their motivations. Why do we do anything that we do? The Soulcraft says it's all entertainment to them. Don't Ho says, I'm not going to take the blame for our fascist downfall. I tried to reason with folks. You cannot reason with unreasonable people. I hear you. I hear you on that. But why are they so unreasonable? They're getting false information. They're being fed on a 24/7, 365-day-a-year loop. A constant feed of bullshit. That's why. That's what we're up against. Midas Kevin says, there is one thing I will never forgive, these people who come out and say, I voted for Trump now and I regret it. Then they turn around, let's vote for Trump. Mad Mac is here, Slava Ukraini. Hello, Mad Mac. Good to see you. Thanks for being here in the driver's lounge as we just kick around some ideas and all that kind of stuff. Soulcraft, I was wondering if he was eating an eggplant McMuffin or hotcakes. Was that, you're talking about Luigi? Luigi. Hey, Capable Glober? Hey, Capable Glober. Yep, the corporate media alone is huge in disinformation, but also focusing on Trump's most crazy stuff, while all the activities going on behind the scenes are not reported. Yeah, kind of like taking the bait, I guess Seha's here. Good to see Seha. There he is. There's Seha. What's up, guys? What's up, Seha? What's up? Always good to see Seha here in the old driver's lounge. Andrew Petrie, small order fries are cheap, $22. That's not right. WW, I don't even need eggs, Rich, but going grocery shopping this afternoon, I'm going to check the prices. Capable Glober says, exactly, MJ, they sat out because Obama didn't do enough, so we lost the House and Senate and barely ever got anything back over 14 years. Lost ability to keep SCOTUS sort of in the middle. Yeah, there are people that are so disillusioned, or I don't know what the word is, but they think that they don't bother to learn a little bit about how Congress works and how the government works, and that your president can't just wave his hand and magically make the last 8 years of W go away or whatever. You know what I mean? It does take an act of Congress. You do have to have the Congress behind you to get things through. That's why I don't really understand why people vote for a Democratic president and then they'll turn around and vote for Republican Congress people. It doesn't make any sense to me. But people do that all the time. They split the ticket, and I don't understand it. Think about Deer says Biden brought so much money to the red states. Big mistake. He got nothing from it. And then the red state Congress people that voted against those things, of course, were the first ones to take credit for it when those jobs, those programs were going through to their states. Yeah. Chris Doug says Merida, Mexico, has hospitals and clinics for everything from dental to orthopedic for a fraction of the cost. Yeah, I've looked into Mexico too for those. The only thing is, I have someone in my family. I don't know if I should say names, but who I guess a few years ago, so they went down there for dental care in Mexico and had a really horrible experience. But that's kind of anecdotal, I guess, so I don't know. Robert Perez. Hey, Robert Perez, good to see you, by the way. Hello, thanks for being here. And Robert says, try Tijuana Dentist. Well, I have heard that you can just go right over the border and get the same work done in the States for a fraction of the cost. Michael McAndrew says, I have one real tooth left. My implants altogether cost around $80,000. That's crazy. Nick Rich, dentures still work. I don't want dentures. I want implants. The Soulcraft says, nice Dubai. Hope it's a good one. Mini cover. I don't know what that's about. I guess I'm mid-thread. I'm going to call mid-thread on that one. Big Dog, that's why I love the VA no insurance paperwork. When you remove the profit motive out, docs and nurses are only focused on their job and not paperwork. Fancy says, but that must be your lucky tooth. Talking about Michael McAndrews. That's funny. MJ Daniel, WW, same here in Olympia, Washington. Price is spiking. I expect them to drop all of a sudden after January 2. Tom Bias, I made 19K in 23. I'm at 17K now. And you're probably more typical than certainly of being of the millionaires, as far as percentage wise. The Soulcraft says Cubs has a great dental. Well, Cuba. Speaking of or healthcare, I need some new glasses. I think. Okay, Cuba has a great dental option if you can get there. At this point, I think I'd rather go to Mexico than Cuba. Seha says, Tambaya, so you make 17K and get 6K in perks a year. Green fees ain't cheap. Laughing my ass off. Oh, Jolie just got the call. I start my new job on the 23rd. My new job. Hey, oh, that's great news, Jolie. I know you're really excited about that. Congratulations. That is awesome, Jolie. I think you're going to be great at that job. And I'm so happy for you. So happy for you, Jolie. The Soulcraft says, it literally makes me subconscious, and I will isolate myself because of it. I'm mid-thread. I should not even read that because I'm mid-thread and I have no idea what that even means. But as Kevin Anderson says, the most unforgivable act, Kimchi, is in 16. They said I voted for Trump and I regret it. Now the same people came back. Let's vote for Trump. Yeah. I mean, I don't want to keep rehashing it, but, I really thought that the same people that voted for Joe Biden, the same amount of people in 2020 would all vote for Kamala Harris. And I guess I'm just totally naive on that. Totally naive. And I also think that if Kamala Harris had just a couple more months, a few more months of campaign, that she would have won. And then so people want to say, well, that Joe Biden should never have, ran for re-election in the first place because he said originally that he wasn't going to. He was going to just be one-term president and he was going to be like a transitional president. But at the beginning of this campaign, Joe Biden looked really good. People were really happy with Joe Biden. I, amongst others, was comparing Joe Biden to FDR, for crying out loud. And I think justifiably so. I mean, in terms of turning the economy around and bringing jobs back, creating more jobs than any other president ever. I mean, he was really, really looking good. It wasn't until that debate that we saw, oh my God, he looks horrible. And then he got the pressure. I was still willing to, even after that debate with Trump, I was still all on board with Biden staying in there. I was like, okay, he had a bad day. Because the very next day he was in South Carolina campaigning, and he looked like good old Joe again. So I'm like, yeah, let's get out there. We can shake this off. We can shake off that debate performance. We can do this. But then he was pressured out by Pelosi and others. And the big donors stopped donating. So I guess there's two things. Either Biden needed to not run for re-election in the first place and but then who knows who we would have ended up with? It might not even have been Kamala Harris. That brings up all these questions, right? But whoever it was would have had a full, at least 18 months to campaign. Which apparently is what's needed in America. You need 18 months. Or if he would have just stayed in, if he could have stayed in and regained the confidence of the donors and all that kind of shit, and then he probably would have won also. But I didn't know there would be such a big drop off in Biden support from Biden support to Kamala Harris support. I thought it would just be like a wash, like it would just be an even transfer. And I was really, really, really wrong, and really, really, I guess, naive about those types of things. WW says some people, including in here, hate Trump on a spectrum. I do not fear him. You should fear him, W. Because he's going to do things that could fuck you over. He's going to do things that could fuck us all over, like really bad. The Soulcraft says, those that like Trump like him because he is an a-hole, not in spite of it. They like his assholery, as I like to say. WW, hate, fear, and jealousy are all the same thing, but they appear in degrees. Keith Polite says, Dark Brandon is the best president in my lifetime. And I agree. I've been saying that. I was saying that the whole time. Joe Biden is the best president in my lifetime. And I was born in 1960. So we had John Kennedy, we had Lyndon Johnson. And Johnson, during his presidency, he took over for the assassinated Kennedy, right? See, this is what the right wing does. They either assassinate you or they fix the elections or whatever, I mean, anyhow, we got Johnson in there, and so we got Civil Rights Act, and we got Medicare and all that kind of shit. Then we got we got stuck with Nixon, who was a crook and a criminal. And then we had 4 years of Jimmy Carter, who was a really good person and was up against some really tough shit with inflation and OPEC and all that shit. And then we had Reagan, who was a piece of crap, who finagled his way in with the Iran-Contra deal and all that bullshit. And then we had 4 years of Poppy Bush, which is an extension of Reagan. And they were horrible. Then we had Clinton, who turned the economy around, got things going, got jobs going and wages going, turned the economy around. That's what Democrats do. They clean up after the Republicans' mess. The American people apparently didn't like all that cleaning up. They didn't like having good jobs and good paying jobs, apparently. So they voted for Bush, another Bush, who very promptly allowed 9/11 to happen, or it happened on his watch, and got us into a bloody war and tanked our economy. We were siphoning jobs. We were losing jobs in the last couple of years of the Bush administration, his second term. We were siphoning jobs out. We were losing jobs at a rate of like 300,000 per month under W. Bush. Our banking institutions were collapsing. Our housing market burst. The bubble burst. We were in a real horrible place in a lot of ways under W. And so the American people said, okay, let's get another Democrat in there. We don't care if he's black. We know that Democrats will clean this mess up. So we got Obama in there, and he cleaned the mess up and got us into a really great economy, creating jobs again, going gangbusters, stock market, all that shit. And then they didn't want a woman, apparently, because she had a funny cackle or something. I don't know, when she laughed. And so they decided to let in a shitbag named Donald Trump, a real total fucking shitbag named Donald Trump, who promptly mishandled the economy. We were already going into a recession when COVID hit. And then COVID hits, and then he completely fucks that all up, kills 1 million people or so. And again, we're hemorrhaging jobs by the end of his campaign, end of his administration. Tanking the economy. People are dying all over the place. So let's get old Papa Joe in there, clean things up. And what does he do? He fucking, in just a couple of years, turns our economy around to being the envy of the fucking world. Having the best economy we've had in 50 fucking years. And all the only sin that Joe Biden committed was that he got old. He got old. God forbid someone should get old. And it's not like Donald Trump is some spring chicken, because he's not. And even though he's a few years younger than Biden, he looks way worse than Trump. I mean, he looks way worse than Biden. Trump looks way worse than Biden to me, in physical and in his mental acuity. But due to all this sane washing and all this fucking this right wing media and mainstream media bullshit, the American people said, well, we better go back to Trump, because Joe Biden's old and the eggs are expensive. God help us all. The dumb shits of America. Thank you, dumb shits of America. Scrolling on up. Hey, I saw Tim Farrell's in here. Hey, Tim Farrell, multitasking but listening. Thanks, Tim, for being here. Chris Doug says, I refuse to call the Tesla turdmonger by his real name. He is Leon Mush forevermore. Fancy says smack. I guess because I was talking about smacking the little smirk off of his face. Ichabod Deer, there are well-educated MAGA. They are selfish with no morals and ethics, greedy fucks. Michael McAndrews, sorry I had to rant a little. That's okay, Michael, you rant. It's okay. You rant, I rant, we all rant. That's all rant. WW says, I was thinking about that earlier, about Deer. Blame the old ladies, Aunt Nancy, Susan Collins, and Justice Ruth. How about we blame you, WW? I want to blame you. Scrolling on up. I'm 27 minutes. Well, Big Dog says, woohoo, puff, puff here. Oh, it's 4:20 somewhere. So I don't know if that was at 10:20. If so, I'm about 18 minutes behind in the chat. Michael McAndrews says, warning, if your jaw hurts and your elbow hurts, it could be a heart attack. At my age, 60s, just trying to warn others. Aspirin saves during a heart attack. I went through a whole bottle. It saved me. Wow. Nick Rich, 20 past the hour. Yeah, so here I am, 19 minutes behind. Just so you know, when I'm reading the chats, I'm reading chats that you guys put in here about 19 minutes ago. Right now is where I'm at. Ichabod Deer says, Pelosi didn't do anything special, nothing that anyone else could not do. Well, that may be true, but I don't know. I mean, she seemed very effective. I think we've had ineffective speakers of the House before. I mean, she seemed like a real ball breaker to me. I don't know. Maybe I'm just misremembering. Hey, Robin M's here. Good to see Robin. It says Robin says, cheers to that Devil's Lettuce morning, afternoon, DJ and kids. Hey, Robin, good to see you. Thanks for joining us here in the driver's lounge. WW says, I think that insurance companies see universal government healthcare coming. They are just resisting as long as possible. From your mouth to God's ears, WW. From your mouth to God's ears. I hope and pray to God that we do get rid of the health insurance companies and we do get a Medicare for all, universal pay type system, national health care system here in the United States sometime before I fucking die. Is that too much to ask? Is that too much to fucking ask? Of course, I'm less than a year away from Medicare, so I will be getting Medicare eligible. I might even be Medicaid eligible. I was going on the exchange today, or last night, or whatever it was, yesterday. And they said I might be Medicaid eligible. So hopefully Medicaid and Medicare and all that shit will survive Trump and Musk and Vivek Ramaswamy and all those assholes and RFK Jr. My God, they're just a real bunch of fucking shitbags, aren't they? Every one of those names I just mentioned, they are not anyone that I would ever want to hang out with or have a beer with. They are all people that I would like to just slug in the mouth. All those motherfuckers. Vivek Ramaswamy, he's such a swarmy, oily, greasy fucking piece of shit. Isn't he just the kind of guy you'd like to just fucking pummel? Beat to a pulp? Yeah, he is. Same with Musk. Same with RFK Jr. I'd like to take a baseball bat to that motherfucker. And then Trump. Ugh, God, he's so gross. He's gross and disgusting. These are not people with any type of appeal. I don't understand it. How these maggots are so fucking. I don't know what they're seeing. What are they seeing? They've got to be under some kind of spell. It's got to be Magic spell. Andrew Petrie, a 82, 78, 90-year-old running America. Good luck with that. Yeah. Okay, let's scroll up here and see where I'm at. Chris Doug, can I change my vote? Search history numbers should concern all of us. How do voters choose the candidates they want to lose? How do voters choose the candidate they want to lose? I don't know what that means, but it is interesting. All of this, like voters' remorse or whatever. Roxanne Arfield says, "Hey there, John." Oh, John Deaf. I guess you're not talking to me. It's very ironic. But hi, Roxanne. I don't think if I didn't see you there, good to see you. Tom Bias says bias is not a bad word. And conspiracies do exist. Fancy says I couldn't stick my hand down a fish hole. No way. Oh, I'm mid-thread. Definitely mid-thread on that one. Mad Mac, I caught a catfish on the Sacramento River in California. Good for you. Seha says the Oklahoma Lake record catfish was caught by noodling, weighed 87.85 pounds. That's a catfish. Steelheads get bigger. I cannot imagine an 87-pound fish. That's very heavy. Robert Perez says if you need a translator tour guide to Tijuana area dentistry. Hey, all right, I'll hold you to that, Robert. John Deff says I have one implant for decades, trouble free. There you go. Okay, I just scrolled on up. Let's see where I'm at here. Talking about fishing. A lot of fish talk going on in the chat here. I might skip over that. Nothing against fish talk. I just don't think I need to reiterate it. Nick Rich says 10:30 in Vegas. I'm now 14 minutes behind your chats. Just so you know. Just so you know where I'm at. I'm 14 minutes back in the past. I'm 14 minutes in the past here. Tom Bias says if Biden were just 4 years younger, he'd been reelected. I think if he was just 2 years younger, he would have been reelected. You know what I mean? You know what I mean? All right, we're scrolling. Now we're talking about bison. We've gone from fish to bison. This is a Rams hat. Yes, this is a Rams hat. Chris Doug says, I don't want Trump to die. I don't want Trump to go to prison. I just want him to be president of my country. I'll take the first two. All right, I'm scrolling down here in the chat. Now we're talking about raw oysters. So we got from fish to bison to raw oysters. Quite the, I don't know if you guys are hungry or what, but pretty interesting. Pretty interesting. And frog legs. We're talking about frog legs, all that kind of stuff here. I used to like hush puppies. Butterflies are free. Hey, butterflies are free. Good to see you in the chat. Welcome to the chat room. Please make sure you like, subscribe, and share. Hit that share button. Hey, you know what? We're at over 3,600 subscribers, and I want to take time to thank you guys for making that all possible. It wouldn't be possible without you, and that's the truth. But Butterflies are Free says they haven't realized that Trump will screw them, and they don't believe Project 2025 isn't Trump's. They're going to find out the hard way. The problem is we're all going to find out, you know, even those of us who did not vote for him. Keep believe the global turtle population is collapsing. That sucks. Big Dog says, you notice Trump never mentions the shooter. He talks about everyone under the sun except the guy who shot him. Oh, that shooter. When you said the shooter, the first thing I thought about was this latest guy, Luigi. Luigi. Now, like about you're talking about steakhouses in Peru. Now I'm really getting hungry. So I'm gonna have to end the show pretty soon here and go eat because all I had was some coffee and toast. I need to go make me some breakfast. Christina Weibel, hello, Christina. Good to see you. Thanks for being here. The Soulcraft says it does seem like being an arrogant prick is the prerequisite for working for MAGA. Tom Bias says Boris Epstein has got to be Russian mafia. Christina Weibel says I'm on United Healthcare medical since 2006, right along with my Social Security. I am from Massachusetts. Originally, that's where it started. WW just looked it up. Says that I don't know. I'm mid-thread on that one for sure. Big Dog in North Carolina says liver mush is one of the best breakfast meats, but never read the label. I've had liverwurst, right? Liverwurst. I don't know if I've had liver mush. Rubber Red says, is it me or is Johnny coming in one side of my headphone like Yes, Robert, we've had that conversation before in the chat, where people have said I'm only coming through one side of like their earphones or if they're listening on a stereo or whatever, and that is just I guess the way it is. I can't do anything about it, unfortunately. I don't know why it does that, but it is what it is. Hey, Michael McAndrew, there's $12. This is how far back I am in the chat. I don't know, you might have done this a while ago, Michael, but thank you so much. Wasn't ignoring you. Just want to say thanks for that $12 super chat. It says, okay, Jolie, one coffee for John. I could probably get 2 or 3 copies out of that. But thank you, Michael. Thank you so much for supporting the show, helping the show grow, helping us get out there, helping to get the word out there, to get the truth out there. Let's get the truth out there, and let's hold Donald Trump and his crony fucking administration accountable for everything they do in these next 4 years. Let's hold them accountable. Let's not let them get away with anything. And let's for damn sure not let them blame anything that Trump is responsible for on Biden or Kamala Harris or any Democrat. Hold them accountable. That's what we need to do in these next few years. Let's win in 2026. Let's win in 2028. Let's hold MAGA accountable. Let's hold the Republicans accountable. And don't let them get away with their fucking bullshit. So thank you, Michael McAndrews, for that. Because with your $12, that will help keep me going. To help get our message out. Our message of accountability and truth. More catfish talk. I see. As I scroll on down. WW says, when I first saw Illinois State catfish. Okay, I don't mind you guys talking about catfish. I'm just not going to reread the catfish ones. So I'm going to skip down a little bit. Butterflies are free. Good numbers. Sugar John, I'm happy to see your channel grow. Thank you, Butterflies are free. And like I said, it wouldn't be possible without good folks like you in the chat, chatting and sharing and liking. And if you can do a super chat or a membership or any of that, that's all great. But the best thing you can do is the like and subscribe and share. Those are great things. I would love nothing more than to have 100,000 subscribers. That would be so awesome. I don't know. Like once I started doing this a few years ago, these live streams, and I only had like 100 subscribers or 180 or whatever it was, and now we're at 3,600. It just really makes me want to get to 100,000. I don't know what it is, but I really, really do. So if there's anything you guys could ever do for this old man, it is to just keep sharing the show and keep helping get the show out there and have us grow. I would love to have 100,000 because they give you a little plaque and I could hang it up right over here somewhere. YouTube gives you this plaque and it says 100, I think it says 100,000 subscribers. I mean, that's really my goal. That's really what I want. You know, that's just a personal thing, I guess. Robert Perez, have some tough cookies in your next Double Joe. Okay, I got you. Let me scroll on up here. Let's see. WW, keep John in the money to defeat Donald Trump. Yes, that's right. If you want to defeat Donald Trump, keep giving me money. No, the thing is, keep giving me subscribers. Whatever you got to do to get me subscribers. That's what I want. I want 100,000 subscribers. I don't even care about the money. I want the subs. I want the subscribers. So, WW, I'm putting it on you now. Since you opened your big mouth, thought you were funny and being cute, I'm putting it on you, W. Get me some subscribers. I want 100,000 by end of today. No, I'm just kidding. But you know, as soon as possible. Can we put a rush on that? Can we put a rush on the 100K? I want 100,000 subscribers. W. I don't even care about the money. Just get me the subscribers. I would love nothing more than to have 100,000 subscribers and have a show where we've got, you know, thousands of people in here every single show. I think that would be awesome. And then I could just like, you know, dazzle people with my charm and my wits. I don't know. Let's see. You go about deer. I only like solo white tuna. Now we're going to tuna. Okay. All right. We got catfish and oysters. Why not tuna? Butterflies, get up. Stand up. Stand up for your rights. Michael McAndrews. Hi, butterflies. My wife and I collect monarch caterpillars and let them hatch and watch them fly away. That sounds That sounds absolutely lovely, Michael. It does. WW fresh tuna is the best. Okay. You go about deer, get the fish with horseradish. I am happy to report I did have pest control came out. I made a little request with management. There's a thing on, they have a website and you can do requests for maintenance. And on there, lo and behold, I saw a thing where you can do a request for like pest control. The guy came out last week, I guess, and he sprayed. And then I did see a few bugs running around for a few days, but I gotta say, I have not seen a bug now for a few days. So that pest control thing fucking works, I think, apparently. Anyhow. And I'm going to keep calling it. If I see one bug, I'm going to be back, or not calling, but I'm going to be, on the little website, and I'm going to be saying, hey, get back out here and spray, man. All right, I'm scrolling on up. Mad Max says, I went to supper with a buddy of mine, and he ordered tuna medallions. Here we are with the tuna. We had about 3 beers each, and when the food arrived, he found out that it is raw tuna. He asked for it cooked, and I was rolling on the floor laughing my ass off. Let's see. Now we're talking about sushi. Tim Farrell says, what a great football game for you, John. It was a great game. It was a fucking nail biter because especially when that fucking our kicker missed that extra point, right? That would have made it a 10-point lead instead of a 9-point lead. And there was still a few minutes to go. And I was like, oh, fuck. This is going to come back and haunt us. This is going to bite us in the ass. And it almost did. And fortunately, we were able to hang on. We were able to hang on, man. And now we've got a big game on Thursday coming up. And I don't know. I'm kind of scared about that one. The Niners have been playing good ball lately. It's hard to beat a team twice in your own division. Sometimes, especially the way the Rams have been playing, they beat the Niners the first time earlier in the year, and that was a come from behind victory where I was ready to shut the game off because the Rams were so down late in the game, and they actually came back and won that one. I'm just hoping. I don't care. I don't care how we win this one. I don't care if we win it early. I don't care if we win it late. I don't care if we blow them out. I don't care if we win by 1 point. Just got to win this fucking game. against the Niners on Thursday. So I'll be wearing Rams gear all week probably in preparation. Music says, Trucker John, please get a jar of gefilte fish if you never have to try it again. I think I'm going to pass. I don't know. Say how says, Trucker John, I can do it. Just got to hook you up to a Chinese sub farm. 100K subs cost about $1,000. I want real subs. I don't want fake subs. Thank you. Anyhow, say how. I do want it to be organic. I do want it to be real. You know, I don't want, you know, and I know that's probably tongue in cheek what you're doing, but let's get it real. Let's all do it. Let's all just share the show, like the show, watch every single video that you see of mine that pops up. I think that all helps. Watch it, like it, subscribe it. And I know you might see like a 3-hour video of my like a live stream pop up. You don't have to sit there and watch all 3 hours of it, but just watch a couple minutes when it comes on, and hit the like button, and maybe put a comment in there. And if we all did that, that might be enough to get the ball rolling. Maybe I don't know. I'm not sure how it all works. I'm not really sure, but I think that's what I've been told, that stuff works. So, Butterflies Are Free says, when I first saw your channel, I thought you were using Hal's picture. I said to myself, he's bashing Hal, so I didn't visit this channel for months. Sometimes I do have Hal's picture on there. Like usually when it's, because I do on Thursdays and Saturdays, I do the pre-show hangout and the after-show hangout. And the show that we're hanging out around is the Hal Sparks show. So on those, I usually do put like a picture of Hal on there. Let's see. Now Fancy's talking about lobster. I never ate lobster either. I love me some lobster tail, man. Dipped in that butter. Scrolling on up here. I think I may have just caught up. Let's see. Watch time is integral, says the Slow Craft. I guess watch time talking about getting subscriptions, maybe. Andrew Petrie says, Fancy, I will take you to my old boss's crab boat. Can you speak Mandarin? Man, lots of seafood talk today. Big Dog, I can't stand bugs in the house. Even just one drives me nuts. I probably have every kind of spray Lowe's sells. Fancy, I can talk food. Yeah. The Soulcraft says, I remember we had some conversations about In-N-Out and The Habit. In-N-Out versus The Habit, in fact. The Soulcraft says, I'll stream it on a separate account and just let it play. Well, there you go. But like I said, yeah, that would get the watch hours. But yeah, anything you guys can do would be greatly appreciated. I really want to get to 100,000. That's just like a milestone that at least, when it's all said and done and it's time for me to leave this earth, I can say I had 100,000 subscribers on YouTube. They can put that on my grave tombstone thingy. He had 100,000 subscribers on YouTube. Damn right I'm putting that on my tombstone. Do they still call it tombstone? My grave marker, whatever thing's called. You're goddamn right I'm putting that on there. If I get to 100,000 subscribers, I'm fucking goddamn well right I'm putting that on my tombstone. You think I'm kidding? I'm not kidding. That's going on my tombstone. Now we're talking about shrimp over there. Let's see. Minus Kevin says Soulcraft, like I said, second time around when they bunch people up and say I voted for Trump in 24, but now what he's doing, not again. I'm going to say you already did and you didn't learn. Boy, that was a tough thing to read. Chris Doug says plug-in sonic insect repellent has kept insects out of my house for decades. Plug-in sonic insect. I used to buy those plug-in things. You could buy them like at Home Depot. It was supposed to keep like rodents away, and a lot of people said that doesn't work. But I think it kind of works to some extent. I think it's a very small. I think you have a whole bunch of them. I think it's a really small area that maybe it kind of helps. Anyhow, Robert Perez, anybody want to shake hands with Trump? He's so awkward. I didn't see that. I heard Stephanie Miller talking about it this morning a little bit, but I haven't seen the video of it. But Trump's just a fucking weirdo. Why are we electing weirdos like that? You know? It's like, going back to Nixon. Nixon was a fucking weirdo. You know? Whoops, I just banged that. I think Reagan was a clown. I always called him a clown. Certainly W was a really strange dude. I mean, what is it with Republicans and their strange ass fucking presidents? Butterfly says, I know that now. I'm happy I found your channel. The chatters are great here. Hey, and I'm glad you're here, Butterflies Are Free. I'm really glad you're here. And I'm glad you like the channel, and I hope you keep coming back and hanging out with us. Because where else are you going to go where the host of the show could be talking about Trump and all this kind of shit, but you guys don't give a fuck? You're going to talk about catfish and tuna and lobster and, you know. Where else are you going to do that? You know what I mean? Josh, I get birds on my porch all the time. Michael McAndrews, I have like 400 followers on Blue Sky. Don't even get me started on Blue Sky. I just now broke 1,100, and I see a lot of y'all out there. You got like thousands and thousands and thousands. I don't even know what to do about Blue Sky. But if you see me on Blue Sky, give me a follow. That'd be great. But my main concern is YouTube subs. That's my main thing. I'm on all of them. I'm on Facebook. I'm on Blue Sky. I'm on Threads. I'm on Substack. I'm on Tribal, for God's sakes. And I really don't give a fuck about any of those as far as getting followers and stuff like that. I mean, yeah, on Blue Sky, I kind of feel envious a little bit because I see Boston Brian right off the bat got like 30 grand or whatever. That kind of, it didn't bug me, but it kind of made me a little jealous, I guess. And as Wes Webb says, that's the same as hate or something. I don't know. But my main thing is YouTube. I want subscribers on YouTube. I don't really care if I have 100,000 followers on Blue Sky or Facebook. I really don't. I just use those other platforms basically to get memes and things that I can post. In fact, I haven't been doing that lately. I keep forgetting. You know, I like to go on the other places so that I can post stuff like this up. You know, Donald Trump will always be the president of the stupid or whatever. You know, that's basically what I do with these other platforms. I grab these memes, and I got another one here. Let's see. Like, here's this one. So I can just put that there, you know, and have that sit there for a little bit. Can you guys see that? It looks a little small. Let's see if I can. There you go. Trump pardons 237 people. Biden pardons his son. It's like, do you see what we were talking about earlier about the media and how they make such a big fucking deal about every little thing that Biden does or Kamala Harris does, but fucking Trump can he can pardon 237 people, and he wouldn't even know it. He wouldn't even know he pardoned anybody. You know. Fancy says I'm only at 43.2. It's a long way off. Well, hey, good for you, Fancy. I don't know what you're doing, but you're working Blue Sky really good. But like I said, my main interest, my main thing is I want 100K subs here on YouTube. That's my main goal. Once I get that, I'm retiring. No, I'm just kidding. Big Dog says, Fancy, you're a rock star. Yep. Fancy is a rock star. Let's see, Andrew Petrie. I have bird food in my room. The sparrows come right in and land on me. Wow. Hey, there's Jolie with the link to Blue Sky. Speaking of links, thank you for doing that, Jolie. Thank you for that. You can go in there and follow me. But like I said, I want subs. So if going on Blue Sky is going to somehow get me subs back here, then I'm all for it. I want subscriptions here on YouTube. I want people to subscribe. This is my main focus. But speaking of links, if Jolie, if you could be so kind, once again, I'm going to keep doing this for a while, I guess, is promoting my son's channel. My son, Little Trucker John Jr., he has a channel on YouTube where he's really into these Pokemon cards, and he loves making videos of him opening up Pokemon. And he's up to, the last I looked, he was up to 57 subscribers. When we started, when I started like sort of promoting him here, like last week, he was at like 40. So I know, I'm pretty sure we've gotten about 16 or 17 of you good folks here, you Trucker John subscribers, to go over there. And so if we can keep doing that, I'd love to get him to like at least 100, you know. So we'll drop that link in here in a little bit to my son. And when you see it, just click on it, go give him a sub. That would be awesome. Sayal says, well, if you die today, it's going to read, here lies Trucker John, 3,260 friends will miss him. Aw, thank you, Sayal. Or fiends. Fiends are friends, either way. Quesadilla 79 here says, he's a perfect representation of America, exceptionalism, all talk with nothing to back it up. All right, Quesadilla 79, good to see you. Thanks for being here. Chris Doug says, touch Trump's hand, not where's that hand been? Yeah, probably near his dirty diaper, you know. James Williams says, I believe if Biden had run, he would have been reelected. I do too. I do too. If he had stayed in. But, you know, we can't do anything about that now, so. Butterflies are free. Word by the chatters can let people know about your channel, sort of like word of mouth. Yeah, let's do it. Let's get it. Word of mouth, you know, like, subscribe, share, get us in the algorithm, all that good stuff. Greatly appreciated what you guys do. You guys have helped build this show. We went from about 180 subscribers just a couple of years ago to 3,600, and to tell the truth, I never thought I'd be at 3,600. So, but I really want to get to 100K. Andrew Petrie, I'm okay. The Soulcraft says, and where are they now? So quiet on Trump. I don't know. Big Dog, do you have 15,222 followers on Blue Sky? Is that what you're saying? That's congratulations. That's great. Doug, Chris Doug says Blue Sky is like the old Twitter, no bots, no mush, no haters, no BS. Yeah, I like Blue Sky. I'm just saying my focus is on YouTube subscriptions. I really want 100K. Midas Kevin Anderson says, Fancy, I like the fact that Kamala swore the senators in. Jeff Curry's here. Hey, Jeff, good to see you. Thanks for joining us here in the Driver's Lounge. Jeff says, 56 Nick Rich been here, but barbecue ribs wasn't going to touch keyboard. Oh, yeah, that's not a good idea. Get barbecue sauce all over your keyboard. Ichabod Deer, Trump pardoned 5,000 Taliban, released them from prison when he knew Biden won. Yeah, and then people have the gall to criticize Biden's, our exit from Afghanistan. I wonder how many of the 5,000 Taliban fighters that Trump had released, how that emboldened the Taliban. And maybe in directly or indirectly led to, those suicide bombers or whatever. It might not have even been related, but still, in the overall picture of things, here's Biden, here's Trump. He can get away with doing shit like that. He can get away with getting 5,000 Taliban fighters released from prison, and MAGA doesn't even bat an eyelash. They don't even bat a fucking eyelash. But God forbid Joe Biden gets us out of Afghanistan, and we had a horrible thing happen with these suicide bombers that I believe were Taliban, and we had 13 of our service personnel, military people die, and there were probably hundreds of people that were injured, people in the crowd. I don't know how many of our soldiers were injured in addition to the 13 who died. It's awful. It's an awful thing. But that was part of MAGA's justification for voting for Trump in this election. Trump can get away with fucking anything. Like he said, like Trump even said, he could shoot someone on Fifth Avenue and he'd still have his full support. He wouldn't lose one vote for that. Not one. And I'm really sick and tired of this double standard. And it really isn't, in this case, that's like a false equivalency. Joe Biden had the courage to do what the previous, including Obama, the previous, three presidents couldn't do, and that was get us out of Afghanistan, and Joe Biden fucking did it. There's Jolie with the link. Thank you, Jolie. There's my son's link there to his YouTube page, and if you guys want to go over there, give him a subscription. That would be awesome. It doesn't hurt. It's free. That's the thing about this. Subscribing is free. It doesn't cost you a dime, and it's a great way to support channels. My channel, my son's channel, anybody's channel. If you want me to subscribe to you, I will. A lot of times, I don't really go on your guys' channels that often, and when I do, it looks like you're not really interested in subscribers or whatever. So I don't know if you want me to or not. But if you guys want me to subscribe to you guys' channels, I will. But those of us who do shows or who put out content, like my son is doing the content with his his channel. We want subscribers. We do. So if you could give him a subscription, and like I said, it's free. It doesn't cost you anything. That's why I guess what I was going with that is I don't understand why it's so hard to get subscriptions, because it's free. All you gotta do is click on it. It doesn't cost you a dime. And it helps the show out immensely. Butterflies Are Free says, I would recommend Jersey Mike's. The best, in my opinion. The bread is what makes a good sub. Good meats too. I like Jersey Mike's. I've had them a few times. I think they're pretty good. They might be better than Subway, I guess. I don't know if we were comparing Subway, but Subway is sort of the big national brand or whatever. trying to think what one do I like the best? I don't know. As far as like, a sandwich shop. I don't know. Nick Rich says Blue Sky allows up to 150 handles in a starter pack, and you can make lots of starter packs. See, I guess I've done a couple starter packs. I get maybe that's the key to it, but I don't know. Ichabod Deer says I don't think Biden would have been reelected. So we've got some disagreement here in the chat on that. But I guess we'll never know. Now will we? That's the the thing about it. Minus Kevin Anderson says, "Oh, Fancy, I like that she did the thing with her voters. She goes, 'May I ask your name and who are you?' Then the senator goes, and that's Kamala Harris." Laughing out loud. I didn't see that. Jolie says, "Wes is the only fiend here." Yes, absolutely. Sayal says, "I need to go do an oil something dye check and find the damn link." Oh, UV dye. Oh, okay. All right, Sayal. Well, thanks for being here. And we are going to be in the show here in a little bit. We are over 2 hours now. Wow. Yeah, I need to go get something to eat. I'm getting really hungry, lightheaded. I'm not lightheaded yet, but yeah, I need to do. I need to do that. I need to get something to eat in a little bit here. So I'm just scrolling on up here. It looks like I'll see you guys in the Hal Sparks chat. Hal Sparks will be coming on, I guess, today at his regular time, 3 o'clock Pacific time. So if I see you guys in the chat, I'll say hi to you. Nick Rich, I followed Seha on Blue Sky. The Soulcraft says, "Man, it sucks being in a non-legal state. I'm going to try something flower a little later." Or THC a little later. Okay, well, there you go. Minus Kevin, I don't go to Home Depot anymore. They own by yeah, and that guy just died, right? The CEO, didn't he just pass away finally? Hey, Non-Useful gifted 5 Chugger John memberships. Thank you, Non-Useful. I appreciate that so much. That does help benefit the show. Helps us to grow a little bit. We got Krista. Here's I always love seeing who gets the memberships. Krista got one. Billy Kid 73 got one. Molly O. Mama Cat got one. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That was it, huh? So thank you so much, Non-Useful. That's a fun way. It's always fun to see who gets those. So thank you so much for doing that, and I do appreciate you. I guess 1, 2, 3, 4. That was only 4. Oh, okay. And Progressively Independent was the 5th one. Wow, Progressively Independent. So I haven't seen that name around in the chat. So we got some new names there. Molly O and Mama Cat, Progressively Independent. Some new names. Maybe now they'll get that membership. They'll see that in their email, and then maybe they'll come on and check out the show. So thank you, Non-Useful, and welcome to those new members. Josh says, "Hey TJ, I saw you over on Riverboat Jack the other night. Wonder how you liked her show." I love Riverboat Jack. I've been watching a few of them, and I think she's great. And yeah, I like her. Nick Rich, the blame game is lame. The Soulcraft, I liked Mike's Philly cheese. So we got Jersey Mike fans. We've been talking about a lot of food in the chat today. I think we're all hungry. So maybe we should take a break here or end the show. Ichabod says, "No, I founder died. Bernie Marcus, he has not worked for Home Depot in decades." Andrew Beachy, "I weigh 190 pounds. Feed me." Yeah, maybe. I think I'm getting hungry. I think we've been talking about a lot of food. So maybe we should end the show. Let's go get something to eat. Let's recharge our batteries. Let's nourish ourselves physically. Right? And then around 3 o'clock, we'll go back to Hal Sparks and we'll nourish ourselves intellectually and emotionally over there, I think. Butterfly Free says, "Go eat, Chugger John." Yeah, I'm getting hungry. All I had was some toast. I didn't have time to eat breakfast before the show. Um, I had toast and coffee. So yeah, I need to go make me some eggs and sausage and hash browns and all that good stuff. Since I don't have a car right now, I just cook at home all the time, which is good and probably better than eating at restaurants. I mean, not that my food's better, but you know, it's cheaper. Um, anyhow, guys, there's that. Let's see. We might have some goodbyes by this guy. Yeah, I just got to say goodbye real quick. Thanks for being here. I know Trucker John's really hungry. I can hear his stomach growling from the other room. So I'm not going to take too much of your time, but I just want to say hi to everybody and thanks for being here. Uh, just remember though, as you go out and your daily activities, that we're going to get through this. Hey, I'm a tough cookie. I wasn't a tough cookie for nothing. I'm a tough cookie because I've survived all these years without being eaten. That's how you become a tough cookie. Is you don't get eaten unless that's what you're into. But hey, whatever. My point is, let's all become tough cookies and survive this, and we can do it together. All right, that's my word of tough cookie wisdom today. Let's just we'll ride this thing out together. We can do it together. I'm completely convinced of it. All right. See you guys later. I wholeheartedly agree, tough cookie. I really, really do. As you can see, I'm a Rams fan also. Me and Trucker John, we're both Rams fans. But I agree with tough cookie. Let's hang in there, guys. We can do this. We can survive. But we got to do it together. And the only way we can do it is if Trucker John gets 100,000 subscribers. Just kidding. I'm just kidding. I was just continuing that theme, I guess, apparently, of the subscription talk that was going on earlier. But anyhow, yeah, I think we could make it. Let's just, let's hang in there. Let's hang in there. It's going to be tough, I know, but we can do it. We'll do it together. Let's have some purple power. Yes, the power of the purple. And we can do it. All right, guys. I'll see you guys. We'll see you guys later down the week here. All right. All right. So what they said. Yeah, let's hang in there. Let's stick together, because if we stick together, we can stick together. You know what I mean? I don't know. All right, guys, I'm going to take off. I'm going to get something to eat. I'll see you guys on Thursday, 9 a.m. Pacific time. And then later in the afternoon, we'll do the House Sparks pre-show hangout, which is always fun, where we get warmed up and loosey-goosey, get ready for Hal on Thursday. Saturday, it'll be 11 a.m. post-show hangout there. Let's see. Make sure you hit that notification bell. You just never know. I know I've been threatening to do an impromptu, and I really haven't done very many since I'm at home. But it seems like, I don't know, there's always something coming up. But you never know. Maybe I'll pop in at any time and just do an impromptu if I feel like it. And if you guys, want to hang out some more and chat and talk about catfish and noodling, apparently a big subject in today's chat. So anyhow, you guys are awesome. Congratulations to Jolie on the job. And I know it's more than just a job. It's something that's going to be really fulfilling for Jolie. And so I'm really happy for Jolie. Thank you, Aaron, for being here and helping with the modding, helping out with everything between Jolie and Aaron. You guys are awesome. Thanks everyone for being here. Thanks for we had the super chats and let's see, we had the fancy gifted membership, non-useful gifting. Michael McAndrews with a $12 super sticker chat thingy. Thanks so much, guys, for that. And it does help the show, help us grow and get bigger and get to my goal of 100,000 subscriptions. And I guess that's it. Yeah, Aaron's got to run. Thank you for being here. Aaron, everyone, Ichabod Deer, we had Nick Rich, Michael Andrews, Seha, everybody. I can't do all the names, but you guys are awesome. Even WW over here, West Webb. Thank you guys for being here. And, as always, part of the goal of this show is hopefully we walk away with at least some kind of knowledge or something to take away. And so, as always, I like to end the show on really some profound words of wisdom, something you can take with you for the rest of your life. Okay, so get your pen, get your paper, get ready, jot this down. You might want to write it down. You might want to make a sign and hang it somewhere. This is how profound this is going to be. And so all I want to say, okay, here it is. Just remember that, as you wind on.
Well, it's time to say goodbye. The show has come to an end. But don't be sad, no, don't you cry. We're all gonna come back and meet again. We'll have some fun times, hopefully nothing too bad. We might talk about war crimes. Might talk about Baghdad. I doubt we'll talk about door chimes. But if we did, I'd be only too glad. So hasta la vista, baby. The show is over, but could I ask you maybe to take a shower? No, that's not what I meant, but I couldn't think of anything to rhyme with over. Now my whole rhyming scheme is all screwed up. Oh shit, I should have stuck to truck driving, who I tried to kid. At least when I was out there driving, I could handle a skid. But doing this live stream, baby, has been a real kid. So I hope to see y'all again right here on the Trucker John live stream. We're gonna do it again and again, right here in the Trucker John live stream. Yeah, the Trucker John live stream. We're gonna come back and do it all again. No, this ain't no dream. This is where we win, right here on the Trucker John live stream. No, this time to say goodbye. The show is coming in. Don't be sad, no, don't you cry. We're all gonna come back and meet again. Well, it's time to say goodbye. The show has come to an end. But don't be sad, no, don't you cry. We're all gonna come back and meet again. We'll have some fun times, hopefully nothing too bad. We might talk about war crimes, might talk about Baghdad. I doubt we'll talk about door chimes, but if we did, I'd be only too glad. So hasta la vista, baby. The show is over, but could I ask maybe to take a shower? No, that's not what I meant, but I couldn't think of anything to rhyme with over. Now my whole rhyming scheme is all screwed up. it's a live stream. Baby, he's been a real kid. So I hope to see y'all again, right here on the Trucker John live stream. We gonna do it again and again and again, right here in the Trucker John live stream. Yeah, the Trucker John live stream.